みんなおかえり。さて、もう一眠り。
What the fuck are you doing?
採取します。採取します。
What do you say? But why?
よろしく。
Okay. The fuck is she doing in there? That's it. I'm in. Oh shit.
The problem with smoking is that it's kind of amazing. This is an irresponsible thing to say, but if we're to talk about it, it's rather so honestly. Smoking creates a temporary problem and offers an instant solution. Once your brain is used to nicotine, for up to 72 hours you're itchy, nervous and stressed. But one drag and it's instantly feel really good. It's way more than just a physical condition. Smoking helps you focus on work and is an excuse to take regular breaks, which is good for you mentally. It's a tool against boredom, it suppresses your appetite, it makes bad moments feel less bad and good moments better. It's social, fun together, and a good way to make friends as smokers or up. Your lips are one of the most sensitive parts of your body, and something between them is deeply satisfying. So we've given smoking an honest introduction. Smoke a cigarette together to see why it makes you feel so good and what exactly happens inside your body when you do it. Best worst thing. A cigarette is dried tobacco mixed with chemicals that make it burn slowly, to absorb and flavours that make the smoke less harsh. Let's light it.
残り1体です。
Cigarette smoke is 95% gases like carbon dioxide and methane. 95% particles on tar, and they contain the magic source, carbon or nitrogen compounds filled with nicotine. As you inhale, millions of particles interact with everything they pass through, getting stuck on your throat, tongue, and trachea. Your lungs like big inflatable sponges, filter, barrier, ciliary cells with hair-like extensions coming out of the They trap dust or bacteria to be swept away, a sort of dance. Tar particles land in the mucus and turn it into a sticky brown substance that stops the dance and paralyzes the singer, allowing them to get deep to your lungs to the alveoli. Your insects live when actual breathing happens. They have very thin walls so that oxygen can transfer to your blood and carbon dioxide can leave. Now the magic is released. It passes through the thin walls and enters your bloodstream, to your brain so fast, it's instant. Because the meds arrives right away. If your brain had a control board, smoking like pressing all the buttons, releasing neurotransmitters and hormones that affect your whole body. Epinephrine and cortisol make your heart beat faster and your body ready for action. Look, makes you feel happy, relaxed, and reduces your appetite. These endorphins reduce pain and stress. Nicotine excites and calms you at the same time. You get more alert and able to focus, your nerves become sensitive to pleasant sensations, then your whole body relaxes. Together, all of these effects just feel great. But your brain immediately tries to return to normal and pushes back against the effects of nicotine, which is fine as long as you have nicotine inside your blood. But once its effects wear off, your body is left alone, protecting creating massive itself. The more you smoke, the harder your body tries to push back. This is why nicotine is so addictive. You start feeling like yourself without it. It's so great. Now you also need it just to feel normal. If that was all smoking did, well, that would be kind of okay. Nicotine comes with thousands of different products. Arsenic, cyanide, peroxide or nitrogen oxides cause damage wherever they end up. Carbon dioxide reduces how much oxygen your blood can carry. In your lungs, your cilia cells struggle. It's hard to push mucus beyond their target, and some of the cilia cells die. Your alveoli is super sensitive, can't handle this sort of stress. Few of your tiny air sacs pop like balloons, causing irreparable damage. Your body needs to get rid of all this tar immediately. Goblet cells pump out extra mucus to compensate, which makes breathing harder, so you start coughing to get the tar and mucus out. Your immune system activates and macrophages begin eating up tar particles. Smokers have way more of these clean-up cells here because their lungs are literally full of dirt. The nicotine makes the macrophages sluggish and inefficient. Worse, they vomit chemicals that dissolve your lung tissue and cause tiny wounds that turn into scar tissue. Scars in your lungs are bad. Nicotine raises your heart rate while watering blood vessels all over your body to constrict. Meanwhile, toxic chemicals get stuck, causing countless tiny wounds all over your body, turning to scars. Those scars, proteins that create random blood clots, making your blood vessels even narrower. Constricted and narrow vessels will stress your heart muscle to block charge. Inside your skin, the chemicals trigger enzymes that break down collagen, protein that makes your skin elastic and smooth. This creates folds and wrinkles. Your skin ages much quicker, and you look old sooner. But maybe worse than what happens to your kidneys. It's fighting an invisible enemy, damaging healthy cells in the process. While at the same time, nicotine makes it slow and sluggish. Worse at fighting actual diseases. We could go on with this, but this is getting old. In a nutshell, every single one of your organs is highly stressed and suffers some kind of bone damage. Over time, fats get stuck in scars inside blood vessels, which get narrower and narrower until they start to suffocate your organs. Your overworked heart beats even harder to push blood through against your resistance, and your blood pressure rises. So hard that fluids seep out of blood vessels into your lungs, which makes breathing even harder. The likelihood of a blood clot, critical passage in the body, rises enormously, which can eventually cause a heart attack or a stroke. Almost all smokers eventually get chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So alveoli are possibly destroyed, or all short of breath, and are able to breathe free. Once you've had it, it can only get worse, and never better again. Finally, there's cancer. You get a sort of double whammy. On the one hand, you flood your whole system, and especially your lungs, with at least 70 highly cancer-causing chemicals. And on the other hand, you paralyze the part of your immune system that kills and prevents cancer. This is why cancer is so likely in smokers. Ultimately, smoking is uniquely dangerous among the things you are legally allowed to do. The average smoker loses 10 years of life, which means that some lose like 5 years and others more like 25. You don't know which one will win. But it cuts into your health span, or making a much larger part of your life spent being chronically sick. So why don't smokers not just stop doing it? Smokers are often seen as unhinged or out-disciplined, which is unfair. Nicotine is one of the most physically and psychologically addictive substances known to humanity. If you ever start using it, you might struggle with it for the rest of your life. Physical addiction lasts around 3 days. Psychological addiction is much harder to overcome. is you form strong habits, and it's connected to many social cues, like hanging out with friends or winding down from work. First thing is that almost everybody who starts smoking as a teenager. The tobacco industry has to target vulnerable brains and get them hooked on the pleasurable effects of nicotine or in a particular way. Today, about 1 billion people light a cigarette, which is a lot, but at least the trends are looking good. In 2000, 34% of adults were smoking. In 2020, it was only 23%. Still, in 2023, about 8 million people died from it. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are many successful strategies for quitting. We've got links to some in the video description. People who stop smoking by the age of 35 on average don't die earlier than non-smokers. If you're older than that, even quitting late can add years to your life. It's a bit like with climate change. Every bit counts, even if damage has already been done. We're not about to your health, please. You do you. But at least be aware of what exactly you're doing and why you're doing it. Most of you watching this don't smoke, so, well, just maybe never try it. Smoking only really solves a temporary problem. It creates loads of permanent ones. Good thing I never started. But it's not like I never do things I know I shouldn't, like using sketchy free Wi-Fi's or downloading files and then double-checking the source. Tried out NordVPN to relieve some of our existential dread. Go to nordvpn.com/Kurzgesagt to make sure malicious websites are blocked, web trackers stopped, and pesky ads are hidden. NordVPN's threat protection scan files during download and remove malware and trackers automatically, and they warn you of any maps that seem risky. I'm looking at you there. On top, NordVPN offers many more features. Summer is travel season and NordVPN encrypts your connection when you connect to unknown Wi-Fi stations in hotels, airports, or cafes. You can choose from over 6,000 fast servers in 111 countries around the world, so you can also access your home content from abroad. You can also book flights, hotels, passport cheap. Nice difference in different countries, regardless of whether you're surfing, computer, tablet, or smartphone. NordVPN is compatible with such platforms and can be used on 10 devices simultaneously. If you want to discover all the services NordVPN offers, go to nordvpn.com/Kurzgesagt to get 4 months extra on a 2-year plan. All risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Habits can influence your life in a major way. They're basically the hardwired shortcuts your brain uses to save energy and make decisions faster. So, use this shortcut method to influence your life in a positive way. Created this habit journal to help you do exactly that. It contains scientific explanations, tutorials, and colourful illustrations to help you build the habits you want in your life. To be honest, we created it as much for ourselves as we did for you. We used it to help us implement habits like working out regularly, eating healthily, learning a language, or simply actually doing hobbies instead of browsing Reddit. And we also included a few tips on how to read habits you want to get going, like sleeping, health, posture, improve your life in a science-backed way. So more depth to this channel.
Did I tell you a joke?
No, you're not telling me a joke. I am tired. I'm trying to cook. You know what? No. If the joke isn't funny, I'm hitting you in the head with a pen.
Deal.
Go.
Why is dark spelled with a K and not a D?
Why?
Because you can't see in the dark. Get it?
皆さんなら勝てます。
Parts also see benefit everything else. It opens with a fake PlayStation screen. There is a language select, a strange memory card screen, even an introduction movie that is skipped by the player. By the time you hit Valverde's title screen, it already feels bizarrely real. This is too much effort to be an actual fake video game, right? That uncanniness does not go away. So upon selecting a new game, a fully animated cutscene plays. The player then taken through a character creator and zone select, and from here, touch down in a corpse. The polygons features jobs. As a resident of this village, your goal seems to be more than to integrate into this community. The Fox Mayor, whose authority has been vested in him by something called the Smiling One, I'm sure that's fine, gives you a house whose previous owner left a long time ago. Has never back. That's also fine. Clearly, there's nothing of concern happening here. We can stop right there. Valverde already became the most impressive fake video game. Everything from its low-fly graphics drowning it in uncanny 32-bit nostalgia, to its mini-games, to just the care that's been put into its menus, intricately designed and bursting different icons suggesting so much of what this experience might be. It also completely captures the feeling of staring into this little lost metaphor, and that is when Valverde has you earned as the feeling of something else in this world with you begins to creep in. It begins when the Fox Mayor attempts to introduce the player to the other people to this island. Where dialogue should be instead practice text, ghostly portraits in place of character art. That is happening. The more Valverde's experience, the more questions you ask. What's with the unsettling amount of religious imagery in this game? Why are the landscapes that surround the village so strange? And who are the people, whose portraits, and what is it? As those questions pile up, a peaceful video game will come into splinter, break, textures bulge and crack, villagers start to act in strange so masses and reaches tearing open its reality. It's deeper roots, twisted and frightened places, stalked by massive and impossible beings. Soon, Valverde feels less like a Stephen to revive that someone it's an ever-expanding void pushing through the world where that leads a ludicrous peak, and the player enters something impossible deep. Valverde's a second fake video game. Narcissus, a strange third-person action survival horror entirely different from Valverde. Its own cutscenes, its own visual style, a player select both a third and first person with its own menus. This strange corporate reality now seeming to lead into Valverde's other worlds. And this is when I stopped understanding what Valverde was. The moment it went from an abyss and became an infinity. And as for the malicious entity that lies at the center of that infinity, all the way at the bottom of the day, we encounter this artificial, self-determined god that's locked itself away from this world. So terrifying is it, it's related. Now, it's generating pieces of this place designed to lock all of humanity instantly, so that our sins not upset the real god any further, lest we draw his wrath. At least, that's what I think is happening. But Valverde is such an amazing evolution of the concept of some sinister entity lying at the heart of a fake video game. Straight up one of the coolest things I have ever encountered on the internet. But it brings us to a point. Valverde doesn't have that much of an audience. Its second part, featuring that second fake video game and artificial god, has at the time of writing less than 800,000 views. Meanwhile, Valverde explainer videos get many multiples of that, which, just to be clear, is not the fault of making those explainer videos, and particularly I mind who urges you to go watch the original, which right. I think it's a problem that comes with how online content like this is consumed. That there's this belief that discovering the secret message of a piece of media is more important than what that media feels like to experience. And personally, if that's a belief, what matters? To me, the emotion you feel while experiencing a piece of art, that is the art. If you want to feel the abyss-like experience that is Valverde and what is so special about it, sit down in a dark room and just fall down these videos. Let Valverde happen. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole of explainer videos after that, go for it. But you should never be taking your opinion on any piece of media from any YouTube video, especially mine. I think Modern Simpsons is good. I want to know what is so special in this world. You gotta walk yourself. That is the appeal of experiencing a fake video game from an audience perspective. And if we tie this all the way back to Persona 5 Imagining Project, this was the first time a lot of people had that experience and were able to engage with how fucking cool it is. Which leaves us one last question. What is the purpose of making a fake video game as a creator? Why would someone pour so much time and effort into doing this? And that, friends, leads us to quite possibly the most bizarre in existence. Even my lucky touches, barely plays that good. Breaking Bad Game Boy is fucking bizarre. Taking Breaking Bad, one of the most respected and influential TV crime dramas of all time, and transforming it to this grotesque story of a body horror where the cast of the show become these nightmarish kaiju beings and commit bloody battle across the skyline of Albuquerque. Somehow, through that story, containing the drama and even thematic narrative flow of the TV show. That already is a fucking insane idea. It's even further hypnotized by being compressed down and squeezed through the low-fi format of a Game Boy, using the visual language and mechanical context of the games of that tiny console. There are shop menus, there are quick time events, there are full-on gameplay sections with on-screen instructions. It is weird, but it is also one of the most unique and compelling experiences I have ever encountered on the internet. But even more than that, it is an idea that should not exist, and yet it does. But that left me with a single burning question. Why? Why take a concept as insane as Breaking Bad told with kaiju body horror, and then squeeze it through the medium of a Nintendo handheld? What possesses a person to create something like this? And that is a question I'm so obsessed with that I eventually reached out to Lucky Touch and asked them directly. Their answer was unusually. Rather than making essentially a Breaking Bad fan movie from start to finish, I'm just showing bite-sized snippets of cake. Part might highlight the story, game mechanic, and then in the next part, what's it we skip over? Here's a joy filling nights, imagining high-quality gameplay, platform, which some of my favorite comments are people making walkthroughs for a game that doesn't exist. They've analyzed the footage and extrapolated game mechanics, levels, strategies, etc. It's awesome. Seeing Lucky Touch reflects so much of how I felt about video games and how they invite the viewer to collaborate was honestly really validating here. Made me feel like slightly less of a crazy person. I think one of the reasons I have been so willing to pour such an ungodly amount of time into this fucking video
よろしくお願いする
is I genuinely think fake video games invite the viewer to engage in a way that few other art forms do. The fact that they don't actually exist, that they are not complete projects, is a huge part of that. Because it forces us to ask, not what is this, but what could it be? And I think that's a really powerful thing. Something that would arguably be lost if these were complete video games. And it was not them. This could have only existed as a fake. And in those terms, it was successful. It was compelling. Even a decade after this was categorically proved to be a hoax, there are still people building onto it and catalog. And to add one last delicious layer of intrigue, the actual creator was never found. The Atlas XP5 YouTube channel going silent after the actual announcement of Persona 5, only for 6 years later to post 2 final cryptic videos suggesting that maybe there was actually something for real here, but who fucking knows? I don't. But if you would like to know more about Persona 5 Imagining Project, I'm going to link to a phenomenal video by Joe. Did an incredible job in detectiving all this information together. But as it stands, it's through Imagining Project we can see so much of what is so strange and special about making games. Which means, now that we understand all this, we can now answer that final question. Have I wasted a significant portion of my life making this video? Okay, but we are going to address this. And to do so, we are going to talk about one final fake video. And if I'm going to be honest here, it was this fake video game that is the entire reason this video exists. Meaning, the last hour and 20 minutes have really just been one long introduction. Oh, this. I remember one of the first pieces of the art's plastic movement stood out to me. It was an illustration of the character Honey from the same Saturn game Fighting Vipers, and I love Honey. A lot of 90s fighting game characters had this really cool street fashion spliced with martial arts gear look that to this day I still think is awesome. And Honey with her gothic Honey dress blended with chunky protective gear, chest plates, elbow pads, and shin guards. It captured that look in such a cool way. Her in-game story is that she wants to enter the Fighting Vipers tournament to promote her fashion brand. And beyond that, the most interesting things about her is that she's called Candy in Europe, and she also has an unlockable furry persona in Sonic the Fighters. That's basically everything you can know about the character, and so when you imagine fan art of her, beyond her look, there's not a whole lot to really draw on, and yeah. The blue sponge trim across her cheek, the streak of red on her pristine white glove, her face contorted into this ghoulish grin. eyes her delight, the eerie way she's like. It's like you, the viewer, just heard her. She's delighted in it. As if the piece is asking, what if at the center of this here is a white? It's kind of chilling, and it's possible this unsettling from this fucking character. It should tell you how Austin is in creating unsettling imagery. Their illustrations often like these development sketches for someone it's like exploring monsters behind scenery so that you never see the full thing, but generating an incredible tension and intrigue. Some even creating horror, the weird implication that something might be there, lurking in the darkness. And that's an idea that's come up over and over in this video, right? The ability for an artist to imply something where the one can see. And in the same way fake video game artists do this with the best video games, possibly the same through dozens of different formats. Sometimes it's a report printing of strange creatures with the ominous text, "They are silent." Sometimes it's packaging for Halloween masks that look just a little too real. One of my favorites is this image of two real faces, and by itself is unsettling. An image of text costume checks into this piece by printing that image as little card. The tag that says 3, asking so many questions about what happened here. The story tells this. Pasta Boot is exceptional. It's combining different formats to create these strange narratives, often mashing together multiple images in the same composition, like it's some stream of conscious work in progress for a final piece that we never see. And it's really unsettling, especially these narratives that suggest this image of a girl stepping forward, welcoming look on her face, and then it's like a grotesque creature, its head encased in a device, which what looks like a child, then the same woman's face contorted in terror, and the same face again, that collapsed. Finally, an empty chair sitting next to it. It's a shadow of something to the frame. Sometimes possible to build these narratives into entire worlds across multiple different secondary pieces, like a city full of a demonic red light. No people, only bizarre morning entities that stalk its streets and peek out at you from behind doorways. Another being a bizarre reality where small, plush-like creatures wander these broken, desolate landscapes, encountering these awful, otherworldly beings and these grotesque creatures, all while their perception of themselves and their reality distorts. And yet another of these worlds is a nightmarish school building where something is very wrong. Where uncanny monsters stalk its hallways and bloated abominations lurch from the shadows. And the side note, I detail here, the monster has the same hair color, hair clip, and even eye patch as the girl at the bottom of the stairs, suggesting so much about what should be happening. The reason I'm going so deep on Plastica's more traditional work is that through it you can see what a weirdly perfect fake video game artists they are, even without mentioning their fake video games, drawing us in with images that ask questions, turning those questions into narratives through different mediums and formats, and using secondary pieces to in other words, the entire process we've been talking about this entire video. That is when you Plastica's fake video games get special. Video games are a huge influence in a lot of Plastica's work, something you can see in a lot of the fan art. Not even just horror series like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, but more with editions of games you wouldn't expect, like Doom, like Earthbound, like Pokemon, as well as deeper cuts like Darkstalkers, Bible schools, and one of their worlds even focusing on a haunted village. Images showing bizarre doppelgangers appear in the night, or canted photographs where strange creatures washing on shore, bizarre specters in the distance, suggesting an Animal Crossing village where something is very wrong, as well as the influence of a lot of old video game creepypastas. The earliest work I could find from Last Boot was even this layout, which looks like some kind of book design concept for a video game. From here, Last Boot would push and evolve that concept in so many weird and fascinating ways that some of it's a kind of loosely implied video game, like this image of a girl collapsed next to a broken sword. Text, magical girl. Battle, the distress line mark and rough pixelated fonts, making it feel like a page scan of some.
ありがとうです。
Or their cooking series, where they pair children with these gigantic, bizarre creatures. And, man, style of drawing, the typeface used, the compositions, it all gives me the feeling of CD inserts for some lost Dreamcast fighting game, complete with what looks like an boss. Other Last Boot's fake video games are perfect. And here we can see their extended video games, from fake box art and CD illustrations to full-on mock-up screenshots that cover a massive span of bizarre games, like a strange PlayStation 1 survival horror about eating dinner, I think, that exists only across a few images, a mock-up screenshot that uses the limited low-polygon aesthetic. Guess what? As well as a full-on fake promotional poster and even a game over screen text no one can hear. The other fake video games, including Below is Lost, a lo-fi first-person experience about exploring a bizarre, never-ending shopping or dream trading archives, which honestly I don't know what the fuck is going on here, but it looks awesome. Or Home, which is just a bizarre game, which also has a scan and troubleshooting section from its manual. It's about what to do if you start getting messages from agents, or if grandma and grandpa die, if 3 days pass, children, but a children. The house or nearby might be deceased. This does not affect the game, except the attic not be accessible to the rest of the game, and occupy a message will pop up every time you try to enter. This happens very rarely. Creating a new game should make here previous file. For now, I think it's clear how natural Plastic is at creating fake video games, which leaves only the final fake video game I want to talk about. This one being the entire reason this video exists. One that incorporates not only everything we've talked about on scale, Stone brick sink is the curling just the swamp as the path extends in front of it. Flat landscape with clouded waters and
いらっしゃい。何を売
all
るのぞ。
enveloped in a thick mist.
取引成立じゃん。
Swamp is near
今後ともよろしく頼むぞ。 あ、お客さんいらっしゃいませ。何事まででいい
The
の？
atmosphere is filled with the violent silence that only ceases when we slosh over water. The shapes of the mist swirl and swirl. Sometimes you swear you can see people. The
い
faceless
ってらっしゃい。
giant, the girl's face is frozen with terror.
何か用か
Evil man
誰を
staring
呼
at
ぶの
you
だ
behind a tree, emanating a threatening aura. But the phantoms are scarce. The more time
ど
you
うする
spend
のだ
this, the more a
どう
weariness
するのだ
sinks into your bones. You find yourself in a constant battle just to stay conscious. If you happen to have a night watch mushroom, it will help you stay with power. Finally, the solid shape just from the mist, you are confronted with a lost paladin. Gosh. Tap into the fog. Twice. The lost paladin pushes you, raising his sword, only to crash to the ground, exhausted, collapsing to a deep slumber. If they are unconscious, you may choose to seek your sword. Do you obtain the unbreakable path? Soon, You begin to worry that the paladin's fate will soon be yours. Try to stay away, try to push through the deep mist and thick mud, but soon you can barely distinguish between reality and the dream. The swamp water covers your body like silken sheets. You stand on the surface of a vast and infinite lake beneath a pitch black sky. The only light coming from a hanging. Below you, at your feet, beneath the surface, is a sea of corpses. And that is when it appears.
Awakened from the dream, soul, and flesh, that you, so soul, rest, peaceful bridges, along in others.
The aspect of the dream draws its plane gracefully and lunges with inhuman speed. The aspect's dream dwarfs your heart. The dream will end, and your body consumed by the mist. The aspect is nameless and is fragile. A single hit can end the illusion. Once the dream is shattered, you wake up in a different place. The mist is gone, and the rose of insects of nature surrounds you completely. You feel the cold and the soaked clothes. You acquire a what I just read is a slightly adapted passage from the book Vermis. And Vermis is simple. It is an official guide for the game just to exist. Its pages are filled with walkthroughs for its different areas, bestiaries of the monsters who place in them, item pickups, their locations, even an in-depth list of character classes. Despite all this, what Vermis actually is, or how you interact with it, is curiously unique. But its text is full of information about its world. It never goes so far to outright describe what the game Vermis is. There are no controller layouts, screenshots, or even descriptions of its game. In fact, the only definitive clue I can find that Vermis is even intended as a video game is a fake torn sticker on the front of the second volume reading Game Disc Not Included. And I'm going to assume that those missing letters are and what this world is and how you experience it is a mystery. That mystery is a huge part of the joy of experiencing Vermis. Rather than directly telling you anything, Vermis is constantly asking you to infer its meaning. And that begins as soon as you hit the character select. Although Vermis doesn't even tell you this is a character select. That's something you have to infer through the title. Vermis, which this medical website tells me is the part of the brain that coordinates movements, as well as many cryptic passages about which flesh you choose, which flesh is yours, leading me to be the reader are meant to be some kind of disembodied spirit skulking into the brains of these characters and purposing them. And this idea comes up a lot, the idea that this body is not yours. What an unusual amount of emphasis to place on such a specific point. I wonder if that can be relevant. It's through these character sheets or about Vermis' world. Each page includes a text description of the character's past, their starting items, 4 stats broken into strength, intelligence, faith, and will. However, the most curious part of these character sheets is the knowledge. Each character having an ability between good and evil. What's interesting is good and evil don't seem to be like they do in our world. Rather, the actual page explaining good and evil isn't described as morality, but kinds of flesh. Where good is defined by a light cannot be faded in darkness. It will shine even in the darkest corners of the world. And evil, darkness is eternal, infinite, unrelenting. No one can escape it. We are born in the light, we rot in the dark. What's kind of interesting here is that these descriptions don't really reference harm. Rather, they seem to be pointing out some vague capacity to endure despair. What's interesting is the alignment of the characters supports this. The ones who are considered good are people with purpose, people who, in the darkness of this world, have managed to cling on to some vital piece of themselves, their memories, their identities, and use those to hope. Whereas the evil characters are opposite. People become despair. Doing so, losing some core part of themselves, getting into madness or nihilism or these belief systems. This is world. And again, that's an obvious specific point to make. And look, why is this image about what's created? What is the music? It's like we're building to some kind of conclusion. Possibly suggesting some kind of alignment system. And immediately called character select is a page called the Gods. But apart from this, look, there's no actual information about who these gods are, how they relate to each other. Meaning, like everything in Vermis, if you want to understand them, their wider effect on the world, before dropping. First of those breadcrumbs coming, turn the page and begin your journey in the shadow of a gigantic skeleton. This is Vermis' home area. Massive monolith of bones that looms above you is the corpse of Gert. 6 gods. The message is clear. Even gods suffer to be here. You.
It's just Fear and Hunger, but not a real game.
Faces world like different mediums and formats. Each time you enter a new location, those areas are brought to life through everything from serene page landscape illustrations, disheveled worn-out maps, even intricately detailed levels. Each location conveyed in carefully written prose, the images and text merged into these meticulously bespoke page layouts where every tiny detail adds to the atmosphere, right down to the filling text and cracked line work. It all combines in such a beautiful, distinctive vibe that comes to effectively try and describe it. I'd say that it's Dark Souls shot through with Silent Hill, but in truth, nothing really feels like there's a silence to the world. An ever-present, crushing dread and eagerly through the most gaping holes and into valleys. There's times where it feels downright peaceful, and there are moments when wide open horrors fade away. Let it just be. But for please, considering the abject nightmare is everything. It's reality. The darkness you can feel in particular, occasional encounters with other humans are rare in this world, and when you do encounter them, it's often in the night. So you turn a corner and see a knife strike an exhausted killing blow on someone. She crumbles to the ground, slipping out between the cracks in her armor. She notices you, desperate, just finally stumble out of your mouth, and then cease. When you do encounter the living, it's often drowning, spectre, only an imposing looking figure, but someone just wandering this world. Companionship, so lonely, who can not lose. He loves that he will not even defend himself from violence. It's depressing. It's a lot full of broken. Some so exhausted and torn apart by the terrors of this place, they just cower, shaking with madness and fear, their minds bent up to the warriors they were gone, leaving them shells.
どうするの？朝までお休みだね。決まったら、さて、もう一眠り。
Spiritual horror is a huge part of Vermis. This is a world that is constantly trying to break you and every character in it. That horror comes in many forms. You'll enter lonely forest cabins in search of some rest, only to awaken to the echo of strange chanting. You notice there are no shadows under your feet, that this bizarre sentient place is trying to digest you. First, the place to find things you find there. Vermis' monsters are creative as they are fighting monsters, eerie, uncanny artwork, and some truly unsettling descriptions of the pale swordsman, and hidden in the shadows of what nation moves endlessly through endlessly through the long dark hallways, crawling through walls, spiders. It's through these monsters you'll feel Vermis' world constantly attempting to pull out.
家事をするんじゃな。
Insect-like creatures mimic the cries of children. some drawing check its gnashing teeth, or the dubious friend, a fun-loving little fellow who dances and dances,
どう
trying
す
to
るの
convince
さ
you
今
to
後と
follow
もよ
him.
ろしく
The
頼むぞ
rise of, it is here! I am me! I have found
どうするの
it!
だ
All while a long tendril protrudes from his back, trails into the shadows behind him, as if some unseen creature was just out of sight, moving to the darkness. Some monsters even survey as these gruesome cautionary tales as to the kinds of things that can happen here. The so devotees of the tower. The 6 different monsters you'll find there are all just these deranged cultists at different stages of some of their lives. As they continue down the path towards some awful truth, their forms begin to crack and distort, their human shells crawling away as they become grotesque floating nervous systems connected to a gleaming light, a creature that causes madness to anyone who touches it before ascending to their final they cannot be comprehended, destroyed, give trace of identity or humanity. Gone. Hermes is at the strongest when it combines its atmospheric locations and unsettling monster design and uses them to tell these simple but extremely stories. When you first encounter something goblin
見て
says,
くださ
expect what you want any dungeon by a goblin princess. Well, once you enter, something feels wrong. Initially, the only enemies you encounter are not goblins, but dead, brought to life like necromancer. Later, a strange beast that lies trapped down a massive pit whose nest is filled with goblins.
いです
Any goblins you do find are decrepit.
もう一つですありました
Others are just common. Make your way through the area and you eventually encounter this dungeon's boss monster, the Goblin. This formidable foe is with slower towards movements, a direct blow with his axes could be fatal. If you carefully block his attacks for some time, you will eventually be exhausted. That would be the optimal chance to thrust your weapon into apertures. Once you've hurt him enough, fall to his knees, exhausted. Goblin turns his head, staring into a dark hole. He contemplates for a few seconds, then screams at the top of his lungs and rises once again. The blood pours from his wounds like a fountain. Due to the pressure, he's going berserk. The night won't last long. He will battle fiercely to live repentance. Once you defeat the goblin, you're given the option to remove his helmet. Do discover he's not a goblin at all. And if you check the room he glanced at during your battle, you will discover a large sarcophagus containing the corpse of a long-dead princess. And when you return to the hallway, you see the ghostly visage of this princess on its corpse. To learn this place, the tale of a vicious queen built her kingdom on
じっくり見ていくがよいぞ
following and Queen's torturous and relieved.
今後ともよろしく頼む
Two
ぞ
daughters, one
よく来たな
girl, goblin princess, the other abomination.
気をつけるように
Punishment of the queen's sins. The queen had her monstrous daughter to make
あどこにしまったかな
She enjoyed feeding her servants, while her other daughter, opposite in many ways, more empathetic, being to the terrifying goblins who once lived set free,
はあ
eventually mounting a rebellion and
もう
overthrowing her
一眠じっくり見ていくがよいぞ
pit to be devouring her daughter. She had wasn't there. The princess, protected by her uncle, to turn this land into a sanctuary where no goblin could ever slept again. Until you goblins feebly attempting to guard the corpse of the princess who had shown them so much kindness. The princess, now guilty its forgotten them, except by her servants, who still stare at the shadows. Hermes is a extremely to the point that if it actually existed as a video game,
家事をするにさてさて毎度あり
Bullshit.
These are often violence and frightening. But the true hell is not the player for. When she gave birth to 2 daughters, it was a beautiful girl known as the Goblin Princess, the other an abomination, mission to the Queen's sins. The Queen had her monstrous daughter down a well to a terrible beast, to which she enjoyed feeding her servants, while her other daughter, opposite in many ways, but more empathetic, loving to the terrified goblins who once lived free. Eventually mounting a rebellion and overthrowing the mother, casting her down into the pit to be devouring the daughter she had raised there. The princess, protected by her will goblin, turned this land into a sanctuary. No goblin would ever escape. Till
なんだっけ
goblins feebly attempting to guard the corpse of the princess who showed them so much kindness. The princess, good deeds forgotten by them, except by her servants, who still stare at you,
いっ
shadows.
てらっしゃ
Purpose
い
is a extremely big world, to the point that if it actually existed as a video game, I don't know how on it. There's moments where Burmis relies on
準備します
reasonable cruelty. Exhaustion and loneliness are a huge part of this world.
できるかな
See the infinite holes of the shades that trap the player
支援いたします
hours or days or mind-numbing repetition and insanity into
任せておけ
partner. And while moments like that are really effective in concept, the idea of actually playing them sounds terrible. I think it's interesting that the format of the game allows Burns to go to these extremes. Compare
どう
in
も
concept
大ダメージです
of cruelty of these hellish places. Disregard this one area of furnace stands. You know that feeling of waking up from a nightmare, everything seems normal until you notice something is wrong and you realize you're still in that nightmare of last purgatory. It's an entire dungeon in similar idea. Not long into Burns' second week, the player happens upon a gargantuan mirror surrounded by skeletons, all of whom seem to have just been people slapped down and wasted to nothing. A strange melody draws you towards the mirror's unusually pristine reflection and you realize that
痛いですわよ大ダメージです
this mirror
行きます
do enter a strange reality. Even by Burmis' standards, the glass purgatory is bizarre, cruel, crawling with possible monsters, some of which, like the conjoined, echo themselves to this place. Their corpses and identities, they're twisting together into these nameless abominations. While Burmis' dungeons usually last about a dozen pages, purgatory just
終わらせる
still
ダージしてこそ
particular
行きます
feels. Spectral figures grasping you from beneath the surface of lakes before transforming into terrible violence. Cult worshipping an old, evil, forgotten god. Perhaps most strange, creatures that seem able to stare past the pages of the book and into you. Peter, this body is not yours, asking to thy flesh belongs. Thy flesh does not belong to me. These encounters are violent. But the true hell is what happens after. The player's hard-fought victories are
行きます
appearance of strange mirrors. Mirrors that drag you deep into the glass towards heavens. Oh, this happens. There's times when you think you escaped, when you feel the gentle breeze and the sunlight hit your skin and you're free, only for you to materialize. Awaken, trapped further in this nightmare. Soon, the very sight of you becomes frightening. reflection bids them go too deeper into this void. Time and space to restore
元気になあね
days,
探
weeks,
してください
pass as you walk in invisible. It's a curse, numbing frost eating your limbs, terrible faces where
劣勢です
come to the surface. Sleep becomes impossible. Dreams stopped. Chewing ribs.
この程度
Exhaustion and despair consumes everything. All while leave
この程度
your shatters at home. Finally, the player finds themselves in some impossible last purgatory, a massive bell tower, at the top of which you encounter is the godless servants, a depraved creature searching among a pile of headless corpses and placing those heads where its own should be, only for them to tumble off. It is frightening, but it's also pathetic. Something about this creature feels so sad, so